share the more or less the same view, speak to ourselves, and find ourselves very convincing to ourselves, thinking that the whole world waits for what we want and will pave the way to fulfill whatever we like to happen. Well, it is not so easy. First of all, and I highly appreciate the data which my friend and colleague Johan brought about demography. It really reminded me what happened some 80 years ago in the early 30s when the French wanted to establish Lebanon as a state which will be ruled by the minority of the Christian Maronites. They had made a census 1932 which proved, first of all, that the Christians are the biggest community or group of communities. Second, that the Shiites are the smallest. Well, already then there were rumors that this census was not accurate. Secondly, today the situation in Lebanon is the Shiite community has the majority of the population, while all the others, Druze, Christians, and Sunni Muslims, and Alawis, altogether are something around 45%. Means it took the Shiites maybe 70 years with polygamy, with changes, definitely changes, which were encouraged by the Iranians and other factors. We changed through the years. It is hard to take what happened in the 30s to predict what happened during the 90s and the beginning of this century. What do I mean? What I mean to say is the data, as documented as we saw, is good for what we saw. It's good until today, maybe another year, maybe 2 years, I don't know until when. It can change. For example, if the one-state solution, which Dani Dayan preaches for, becomes a flourishing country, a nice country, which everybody sits around one fire and sings Kumbaya together, Jews and Arabs alike, maybe, or most probably, this country will be a place where every Arab between Iraq and Morocco will try to infiltrate into. Are we sure that we will never let it happen? Look at Europe today. What happens in states like Norway and other states, which are normal states. What happens with immigration? Okay, so what I'm saying, I'm not predicting that this will happen, but we cannot take a situation which we see today as something which will be forever for granted. We cannot take it for granted forever. Changes can be within Israel and outside from Israel, which might change situations, and nobody can take the situation which is today as something which will prevail forever. This is why here in Israel we have to make sure that the majority of Jews is not 66 to 34. It's a much bigger, much more significant, and much more visible. On the other side, I do agree that a Palestinian state will pose a danger all over Israel. The range of Qassams and other flying objects which they might have might reach, let's assume, the vast majority of the cities in Israel, from Tel Aviv, Petah Tikva, never mind Jerusalem. Definitely, I'm not trying to say that this thing will never happen. So this is why, on one side, we have to make sure that the Jewish majority is bigger than 60 to 30, as it is today, on the western side of the Jordan. However, refraining from having a contiguous Palestinian state, which will be a state of terroristic contiguity. So how can we bridge over these two objectives? 7 states, city-states actually, on the West Bank, on Judea and Samaria, which are Jenin, a state, Tulkarem, Kalkilia, Shechem, Jericho, Ramallah, and the Arab part of Hebron, to leave the Jewish part and to leave Kiryat Arba as they are. And let those tribes, and tribalism in the Middle East is alive and kicking, as we see in many other places. Let those tribes have emirates, just like the emirates in the Gulf. Now, don't tell me that the oil is the source of life and prosperity in the Gulf, because Dubai, for example, has no oil and no gas. They have business. Dubai has no oil, no gas. Check it. What brings stability to the Gulf is not the fact that they are rich. What brings stability to the Gulf is the fact that every emirate is one tribe. Al Sabah in Kuwait, Al Thani in Qatar, Al Nahyan in Abu Dhabi, and so forth. Every emirate, Sharjah, Majman, and then Abu Dhabi and Dubai and all those, every emirate is one tribe, controls the country. Nobody fights anybody else. They can have very good life, a very stable society. This is why they have stable politics. This is why they have stable economy. Iraq, which also has a lot of oil, believe me, they have a lot of oil. Yet, because of the fragmentation of the population to religions, only in Iraq there are 10 religions, 10 different religions. Believe me, I can count them for you. They have 3 or 4 ethnic groups. They have almost 70 tribal groups. And they have sects like Sunnis and Shiis and Christian groups. Every possible rift can be in Iraq. This is the cause of the problems in Iraq. One who claims that this whole area can be one contiguous state, and this is against the Palestinian state solution, creates another Iraq or another Arab state with tribes, and every city is different tribes. They don't get married with each other. They don't move from city to city because you don't move to another family. You live within your family, or you move to America or to Europe, but you don't move from city to city usually. Only to Jerusalem they emigrate as individuals, some of them, but they don't move from Hebron to Shechem. Matter of fact, boys from Hebron have no option to marry girls from Shechem, because they sind nicht von unseres. They are not from us. The same thing, we call it tribalism. The same thing. So, what I think is that the real solution, which is based on sociology and anthropology, not about politics. Politics is only the outcome, or stable politics is an outcome of a stable society. Every one of these cities is 1 or 2 or 3 tribes which live together for centuries in some cases. They have tribal courts, they have their rules, they know what they should do, they know what they should not do, and this is why they have their own leadership which can take over. Not the artificial leadership of the PLO. Abu Mazen is from Tzfat and Saib Arikat is from Jericho. and he has nothing to say to the people in Ramallah, Hebron, Jenin, or Shechem. And this is why, since the sociology is divided between those cities, we should take advantage on this situation, social situation, and to continue it, to walk along the line of Arab societies, which actually imposes this situation of small states. Now, I only gave these lines. It could be a bit wider to give them some industrial areas, and I do think that they should work and have business, and we can help them to have nice life, and the nicer life they have, the better they leave us alone, the better the chances that they leave us alone. And of course, Israel is around the cities to make sure that they make business and not missiles. And if they want to go around from city to city, no, from state to state, they can have visa or whatever they have, just as they go today from Jordan to Egypt. They need visas between the Arab states. So this is why we can have the same thing. And everything is technicality. Every technical problem can be solved. This way, we, Israel, depart leshalom from, hopefully, from something between 70 and 80% of the population of the West Bank, of Judea and Samaria, the Arab population, which do not like us to say the least. And in my humble view, we can give citizenship to all those who are staying in the rural areas, and Israel should stay forever with Israeli sovereignty on the rural areas. We don't have this way to move, even not one outpost, or of course not settlement. We don't have to move anything in this situation. All the Jews who live in the West Bank or the Judea and Samaria will stay in their houses, because nobody lives really inside Shechem. Only Yosef HaTzadik is still buried there, and we should visit him every day and every night. But Israel, in this way, can combine between having bigger majority of Jews between the sea and the river, while not having a contiguous Palestinian state between the hills which overlook Be'er Sheva and the hills which overlook Afula. So this is some kind of a bridge between the Israeli need for security and the Israeli or the Jewish right over the entire land of Israel. Nothing is complete in life. Ask my wife, she will tell you exactly what she thinks about me. Nothing, I'm her best example for incompleteness in life. Okay, but still she lives with me for 36 years and she survives, believe me. Okay, so this again, nothing in life is complete, nothing in life is perfect. This is some kind of compromise which will leave us in a Jewish state with a vast majority of Jews and with control over, sovereignty over the vast majority of the state of the land of Israel. And if this situation brings some kind of peace, I'm not talking about shalom, I'm talking about sheket, quiet atmosphere, because they understand that this is a situation, the world will accept it, because the world is sick of pictures which the world doesn't want to see. If there is no, let's say, open fire every day between us and the Palestinians, they will leave us alone because they don't want to have the headache of seeing what they see every day. The Israel can sell this plan to the world only if we believe that this can be done. And believe me, I think that Hebron should be the first state, Arab state, to be established in this way, because whoever knows about the Hebronian society, no ruler succeeded to penetrate the Hebroni tribes. neither the Ottomans, nor the English, nor the Jordanians, nor the Israelis, not even the if you can touch them, not even the Palestinians succeeded to enter, really, to influence what goes on in Hebron. They have their own agenda, they have their own leadership, they know what to do, and more important, they know what not to do. And there are small states in the world, Luxembourg and San Marino and Andorra and the Vatican and Gibraltar, and there are some more examples, and nobody in these states suffers from claustrophobia. This is why these states also should not create claustrophobia to those who live there. If the mindset is about establishing nice economy, nice society, yes, democracy, let's say democracy, because if there are no fights between tribes, they can have normal governance as they have in the Arab Emirates. They will take the situation. Of course, somebody can say, hey, they will not accept it. I always say, they didn't accept the occupation of Yafo as well. So, since they never will accept anything which leaves Israel on the ground, we have to go along our lines of what is good for us and let them, or to channel them to what is good for us. And I think that this, in my humble view, is the best solution which will be accepted by the world if it brings some kind of modus vivendi between us and those Palestinians in those cities. This is what I wanted to share with you, and I think that this plan, if it was taken in account in this country, it could be accepted by most Israelis, because on one side they don't want to live with Arabs, on the other side they want to have a secure country, and especially those who would like to stay in the Judea and Samaria can do it with absolutely no problem. Thank you very much.